How's it going, everyone? It's CJ here again, continuing my series of taking a look at the different loadouts we can make with the same quality item. We already had a look at some all collectors, some all genuine, some all vintage, and some all strange item loadouts. And in the fact that Halloween is coming up in about a week's time, couple of weeks' time, I thought we would try to go for an all haunted loadout. Now, I was planning on delaying this till a little bit later on, but unfortunately I will be away for a week at the end of October, so I won't have time to make the video and get it out in time for Halloween. So I thought better, better earlier than totally missing it, and give you maybe guys some ideas about making some spooky loadouts in time for Halloween, as the Scream Fortress event will be coming out soon. So guys, to give you a little bit of history into the game, haunted items came around in 2011, and it started out with these sets here. Back in 2011, as you can see in the description, it says this is a special Halloween 2011 item, and each class had a set, and you can see these are all the 9 haunted sets that you could get. You could get regular items as well, and then there was the haunted version, which was slightly rarer and therefore more expensive. In the past, all that had happened back in 2009 in the first Halloween event, we had the gibbous come out, which has obviously been updated to be able to make strange and such. And then we had things like the voodoo juju back in 2010. So it was 2011 when haunted items came around. Every year since then, we've had haunted items in the game. In 2012, we had, of course, the voodoo cursed souls for all of the different classes, to make your player, your character, to look like some sort of zombie that was, cursed. That was around the same time as the Marasmus came out. And again, there were some different sets, but not some complete sets. There are a lot of individual items. We're talking about the crones, talking about the executioner, and of course we had the one and only haunted weapon in the game, which was the bat out of hell. Now that obviously is a little bit of a spoiler for you guys coming into the video, because, the question has always been, which classes can have all haunted loadouts? And with the fact that there being only one haunted item that can be used as a weapon in the game, that kind of spoils it. So what I've been doing is, I will go into it later actually. We're going to have some look at some of the other haunted items, because after 2012, Valve went a little bit crazy and then just released tons and tons of haunted items. And as you can see, the majority of these are Halloween restricted, meaning they can only be used during Halloween when the Scream Fortress event is active, or during a full moon. And we've got more, and we've got more. There's lots and lots of items, so each class can have so many different loadouts. There's so many different combinations, and the fact is, a lot of these items are actually all class, meaning they can be used on any class. So there are so many different sets, there's so many different combinations, and there's so many different things that you can have on your loadouts. More recently, last year, so looking at 2015, they released these weapons. Now these were the Halloween weapons for 2015, but the difference was that these items were not Halloween specific items. They came under the grade system, shall we call it, where you can have the different colors. So they weren't haunted. Haunted items haven't been released since then, since the year before. So we've kind of gone with this grade system. It should be interesting to see if Valve decides to do the same thing for 2016. So what we're going to be doing, the idea of the loadouts for this video, we're going to try and keep it as haunted as possible, okay? So for the cosmetics and for the melee slot with the bat out of hell, the bat out of hell is going to be used in pretty much every class that it's able to be used for, because that is the haunted item. We're trying to stick to that kind of that script where it's haunted only. So obviously all of the cosmetics are going to be of the haunted variety, okay? Some of them might be strange haunted, because in recent Halloweens we have had these strange haunted items, but basically as long as it's got that haunted color around the edge, this kind of very light green cyan kind of color, then it's okay. And if they're for the rest of the weapon slots, I've tried to go on, I don't know, spooky, trying to find weapons that go, that maybe could be used, and you think, oh yeah, that's like an interesting kind of weapon to be used during Halloween. So that's kind of the basis of the video, okay guys? So we're going to get into the loadouts now, and I'm going to show you what I've been playing with. So we'll start off, as always, with Scout, and this is the loadout I've gone with. So when it comes to the scattergun, I've chosen the Night Terror. Now, I mean, Night Terror, it sounds scary, right? So that's the Halloween you know, I don't know. That's as spooky as I could get when it came to the primary. And then obviously the shot to hell pistol. You know, shot to hell, Halloween. I don't know. I'm hoping you guys are on my wavelength here. But obviously then we've got the kill. Sorry, the kill streak, professional kill streak. It is, of course. But we've got the haunted bat out of hell, which is the only haunted melee item. So that's going to be in every slot. And I decided I was going to go with the Rooftop Rebel set. And I have experimented with all of these classes, but a lot of them I've gone with sets that I really enjoy and I really like. And this is the one I think is... It looks amazing on the Scout. So we've got the Headhunter in the head slot, and then it goes along with the Claws and Infect, which is, you know, obviously the hands to make them look rather disgusting. And then we've got the Crazy Legs, which obviously change the legs to look. So it just has this kind of entire set on the Scout, which I think looks really, really good. And on his butt here, we've got the Crits or Treat Canteen, which is the only haunted items that can go in the action slot. Okay, and it's a strange one. And it's basically a canteen used for MVM, so you can use that during MVM, and obviously it counts, you know, stuff in the carnival games as well. So that's what the strange effect, but it can only be used during Halloween. So there we go. That's the set for the Scout. We'll go on to the Soldier. Now the Soldier, I went with the rocket launcher, the coffin nail. Coffins, Halloween, right? You know, coffins. That's a Halloweeny thing, right? And then we got the Dress to Kill shotgun, because you know, if you're dressed to kill Halloween, right? I don't know. So we got the Bat Out of Hell there. And then for the loadout on the actual Soldier, I've gone from one of the 2011 sets. Those were some of my favourite sets. I don't know whether it's like a nostalgic value or whether they were just, you know, the most original ones. I don't know. And it's the Tin Soldier hat. Loadout, which has got the Idiot Box as the hat, the steel pipes on the legs, and the shoestring budget with these the boxes for shoes. So yeah, that's what I've gone for with the Soldier, and of course we've got the Crits or Treat Canteen in the action slot. Moving on to Pyro, and again I've gone for a coffin nail. This time it's obviously the coffin nail flamethrower and the Dress to Kill shotgun. Okay, there wasn't really anything else that I could do in those loadouts. I tried really hard to look for something different, but there wasn't. And then we've got the Bat Out of Hell there. You know, I've been using these in every slot. I know there are some that I could have used in different slots. For example, in the Scout, there was the Unarmed Combat, which is basically just a severed arm. I thought that was pretty spooky, but like I said, I'm sticking to the agenda, which is trying to make it as haunted as possible, trying to use these haunted items. And again, I've gone for the 2011 set on the Pyro, which is one of my favourite sets, and it's something you might see me wearing. If you see me in a server over Halloween, this may be the set I'm wearing if I'm playing Pyro. It is, of course, the Infernal Imp, and it's got the Blazing Bull as the hat, which is those horns coming out of the eyes. We've got the Fallen Angel, which are those two wings, and adding a little tail, it's the tail from the crypt. Okay, that's the complete set then. And again, the Crits or Treat Canteen in the action slot. Moving on to Demoman, we've got a slightly different skin here, and for both Grenade Launcher and Sticky Bomb Launcher, I've gone for the Macabre Web, which is obviously, you know, spiders, spider webs. That's like a Halloweeny thing, right? You know, of course it is, of course it is. I know you guys are agreeing with me. And then we got the Bat Out of Hell. I was tempted to go for, you know, the horseless, headless horseman's head taker, you know, which is obviously one of the Halloweens. It was made from the haunted scrap. Okay, the haunted metal scrap. That you could transfer into either the Voodoo Juju or into the Head Taker, and this is a clean one. It's tradable, it's professional kill streak, it's got a Stranger Fire, it's got strange parts, it's got a Halloween spell on it, you know, so you could say this is spooky, this is the spooky one, but you know, you can pretend that I've used this if you would prefer, but going back, I'm just using the Bat Out of Hell because it's haunted. But moving on to the cosmetics, again I've gone for a 2011 item. I really like this set because it basically turns the Demoman into a werewolf. So it's the Highland Hound set, and I've got the hair of the dog as the hat. I've got the Scottish Snarl, which is obviously changes the face of the Demoman. The hair just changes the top of his head. The Scottish Snarl actually is like the cosmetic on the face. And again, we've gone for the Pickled Paws, which are the feet, which complete the set. So I hope you guys are enjoying. Like I said in my last one, which was on Strange, been trying to use cosmetics that cover the entirety of the body, and I've been achieving that so far, mostly because it's been using the sets. But yeah, and finally, Crystal Tree Canteen, again in the action slot. So moving on to heavy, we've got the Macabre Web minigun, the same skin we saw on the Demoman, but using it on the minigun. And then we've got Coffin Nail again, you know, on the shotgun. There's nothing really spooky about sandwiches, I'm afraid. There was nothing really that I could throw together there. We've got the Bat Out of Hell there. And then I've got a this is one of the more recent sets. It's not one of the older ones, because obviously you can see it's a strange haunted one. But it is the Minsk Beast set, and that changes the heavy into some sort of bull thing. So it starts off with the Minsk Beef, which are the horns, the haunted bull locks, which are the bear. The beard, sorry, not the bear, and the bone cut belt, which is obviously the entire kind of apparel on the heavy's body, and the canteen as well to finish off that loadout. Moving on to engineer. Now, unfortunately, engineer, we can't really have a complete kind of set, because we've already had this problem in many of these loadout videos. So we'll come to that again. So we've got Coffin Nail shotgun, something we've been using quite a lot of these loadouts. It seems to be the shotgun of choice when it comes to having like a Halloween themed one. We've got the Macabre Web, again another skin that we've used before, but this time it is on a pistol, something we haven't seen. And then with the wrench, I had a choice between wrenches. There was the Talk to Hell one, but I thought Boneyard, you know, bones, you know, graveyard kind of, you know, a thing. So we've gone for the Boneyard wrench with the engineer. Now with the PDA, like we see here, there is nothing you can choose from other than the strange one. We can pop a strange one there, I guess, but you know, there's nothing spooky about a strange PDA. I suppose the fact that a PDA can be strange, you know, it's like a calculator. You say if this is a strange calculator, maybe that's spooky. I don't know. I think that's pushing it a little bit. But yeah, there's really nothing in there that we could throw in. And I've gone for one of the older sets. I really like this set. I actually played, I think, most of my time as Engie. I've got less than 100 hours on Engineer. It is my least played class in this game. I think a lot of my hours was around this time using this set, because I just loved it. I loved it, you know. Buzz. So we've got the Brundle Bundle, which changes the engineer into some sort of fly, and it starts off with the Buzz Killer, changing the head of the engineer into a fly. We've got the Frontier Flyboy, which are the wings, and the Legend of Bugfoot, which are the feet. Change them into some interesting feet. And then again, the canteen and the action slot. Moving on to medic. Now the medic is something I really struggled with, because on the primary there is nothing that you could consider spooky. I mean, there is very limited. The medic doesn't have very many primary weapons. You've got the syringe gun, you've got the Blitzauger, you've got the Overdose, which are all the kind of needle guns, and then you've got the crossbow. Now obviously there's different variants. You've got, you know, a collector's one, you've got an Australian, you've got festive ones, but none of those can be considered spooky. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go for it, I mean, you could say the Blitzauger. I mean, the very idea of someone having needles shooting out of a gun is pretty scary, I'm not going to lie. So maybe if we wanted to push it, we could do that. And we've got Coffin now, and this time it is on a Medigun for the medic. So it's a very readily available skin, this one. And we've got the Bat Out of Hell, can be used by the medic because it is the all-class one. And then I've got another really old set, 2011 set again. And this is the Mad Doctor set. Now, the hat is the Haunted Einstein. This was, I remember, back in the day when I was trying to complete this set, when I was starting out my collection days back in, 2011, when I was like, well, let's get all the haunted items in the game. And, yeah, I remember the hat was the one I tried the most, and I couldn't paint it. I wanted to paint it, but I couldn't. So, yeah, that's the Haunted Einstein, which is the hats. Then we got the Dr. Goggle Stash, which adds a moustache and has those very red goggles on his eyes. Makes him look rather demonic, I have to say. And then we've got the Emerald Gerati. I remember this confused a lot of people because people thought it was a different type of Gerati when people were getting it during the Halloween. It's like, oh, is this something different? No, it's just the backpack. It changes the back of the medic, as you can see, into these kind of green, this green colour. I have these little pots over there. And again, we've got the canteen as well. Moving on to the sniper. Now, the sniper has to be one of my favourite ones. So, we'll start off with the weapons. Boneyard, we saw that on the engineer with the wrench. We've got the Boneyard sniper rifle, which is pretty badass, I think. I like it. Moving on to this. Now, there's not very many secondaries for the sniper you consider spooky, but I think the idea that you've got mutant bread moving around in some sort of green liquid in a jar, that you can throw at people. I think that's pretty scary. I mean, the very idea of bread being alive that can bite you, you know, if that's not a Halloween-esque thing, then I don't know what is. And then we've got the Bat Out of Hell on the melee. Now, when I was building this loadout, I saw the unique opportunity to have as many birds on one loadout as possible. So we started off with the Haunted Sir Hoots-a-Lot, okay? Sorry, Sir Shoots-a-Lot, I should say. Which changes the appearance of the sniper, changes his head into the actual owl. And then we've got the Haunted Sir Hoots-a-Lot, okay? So we've got Shoots-a-Lot and Hoots-a-Lot, which is the owl that sits on your shoulder. And I thought, what other bird can we have? And of course, we've got Mr. Mundy's Wild Ride, which has the ostrich. So we've got one owl, two owls, and an ostrich. That makes 3 birds on one loadout. I think this loadout is hilarious. Hopefully you guys too, and I'm not just being some sort of manic idiot and thinks it's hilarious, but I might be using this when Halloween rolls around. So again, if you hopefully we get some people using this loadout as well. They think it's as great as I do. But there we go. That is the sniper. As again, we've got the Crits or Treat Canteen on the action slot. And finally, we're going to move on to the Spy. Now the Spy on the revolver. I've chosen the Boneyard revolver. That's a skin we saw just now on the sniper with the sniper rifle. This is on the revolver. When it came to the knife, I thought, what knife should I use? And I've gone for the stabbed to hell knife. Now, if someone gets stabbed to hell, that's kind of scary. So that's like a Halloween thing, right? You know, bloody knives and stuff. Just roll with it, guys. Just roll with it. But when it came to the Invis Watch, there was nothing on the Invis Watch that you can consider really spooky. I mean, the idea that someone can go to invisible at will is, I don't know, that's kind of weird. Maybe you could say the Dead Ringer because, you know, it's got dead in the title, and if you shoot someone and they disappear and then they reappear somewhere else, I guess that's more magic than anything else, I suppose. Obviously, we can't use a haunted item in the melee slot. I didn't actually mention that point. As well as the Engineer and the Spy, they can't use the Bat Out of Hell because, you know, some things like the Golden Pan, you know, or the Pretty Knife, they can be used by all of the classes. But most all-class melees can't be used by the Engineer because, you know, he needs a wrench for his sentries, or the Spy because he needs something to backstab with. Moving on to the Sapper, I've again gone for a bread-based item. This is the Strange Snack Attack. Again, you know, mutant bread biting things that you can place on buildings to destroy them. That is I would say that's spooky. I mean, if my bread bit me, then I would definitely not enjoy it. But moving on to the haunted items, finally, the cosmetics. I've gone for the Haunted Undercover, which is from the Invisible Rogue set. I think this was from 2011 actually. Yeah, there you go. It says right on the item. But I haven't gone for the whole set. And instead gone to the Haunted Foul Cowl, which is, you know, kind of Dracula type cape that goes around the back there. And I've gone for the Haunted Bozo's Brogues. Now, the reason I've gone for this is because I looked at my strange loadout that I had on this slot before, and I was using the sneaky spats of sneaking, and I thought, hey, let's go for some shoes. And it's kind of weird, looks like clown shoes or bowling shoes, I don't know. But they are the shoes, so it does cover a different part of the body like you guys like me to do. And again, just the same on every loadout, we've got the Strange Haunted Crits or Treat Canteen in the action slot. So there you go, guys. Those are the haunted loadouts I've chosen. That is the most haunted items you can have on the loadouts. Unfortunately, Valve has not added haunted weapons into the game. Maybe that'll be something interesting. There's been some really interesting ideas on the workshop with kind of unusual effects that are Halloween based, you know, like dripping blood and skulls and things like that. So maybe that's something that Valve could introduce in the future, maybe either this Halloween or next Halloween, or they can start making haunted items, you know, just specific items that are reskins of, you know, the scattergun, the shotgun, you know, things like that, but have them have a haunted quality and have a different kind of skin. And, you know, that would be possible then to have kind of all haunted loadouts, but that's the most haunted you can have on any class. Obviously, there's so many haunted items in the game that if you wanted to have these spooky loadouts over Halloween, you could pick up pretty much anything, and they aren't that expensive because there are just so many that drop every Halloween. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be moving on to different item qualities when I'm back from my trip. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for the suggestions. This was again a suggestion from somebody in the comments. So any ideas, suggestions, feedback is always welcome in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I'll see you next time.